Hey there, Monday live stream. I'm Shane Olson, and I will be streaming while sculpting my good friend Matthew Armstrong's Waluigi today. It's like a fun character, so I thought I'd give it a go. Hopefully this is working. Right, I'm just going to share my sculpt really quick. All right, looks like we're rocking and rolling. How you guys doing? Let's see, there we go. Hey, what's up, Neil? What's up, Mark? Alex? All right. Yeah, I saw this Waluigi. I just had to sculpt it, so probably get some music going on. Why not? All right. I'm doing well, Leonard. Thank you. How are you? Hey, Matt. How you doing, man? Okay. Let's get this, pull this train out of the station. Sorry, my friends are... So I've been playing Deep Rock Galactic at lunch with my friends. That game is hilarious and it's fun. Okay. Let's see. So, yeah, we're just going to start this guy like we start out anyone with primitives. You know, I've been scaling this this base primitive up just so I can get the default Sculptris Pro triangles to be as small as I need to right off the bat. So if you look at the size of this grid here, it tends to be, if it's about that big compared to the grid, it usually works out pretty well. And I don't have to scale it up later. Because with Sculptris Pro, the triangles, the density of the triangles are relative to the size of your scene. So if I scale it up in the first place, then it's good to go. Okay. Is it okay if we use a ZBrush base mesh to start with? Yeah, there's no written law or rule to say what to start with. I just like to start with primitives most of the time, just because it helps me work out the shapes in my head. So that's why I teach it that way, not why I've been doing it that way, and that's why I start over from scratch every single time with primitive objects. Okay, I just like to work out the... So this darker blue will become the cranium, and this will become the muzzle or jaw area. Hey Maker, how's it going? I love how this Waluigi has no eyes. They're just like crunched up underneath his eyebrows. And his, yeah, that mustache is awesome. Hey Paul, welcome, welcome. Hey Battle Bears. Hey Hans, welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. All right, love these ears too. They're like elf ears. Should do a Mrs. Cat from Tom and Jerry. Oh yeah, that'd be a good one. I used to watch Tom and Jerry as a kid all the time. You know, I'm gonna reset this. Sorry, this is a good song. I gotta like it. What is this? Crockett's Revenge by the Midnights. That's an awesome song. It just has some sexy saxophone going on. I like it. It was so quiet. Yeah, I was focusing on the ears for a second. Oops. That's why it was quiet. Sorry about that. Usually yapping. Hey, Paul. Yep. Having a good Monday? Good, good. Whoa. Speaking of Sculptress, it is on right now. Yeah, this is what I teach in my course. So if you don't know, I have an online course called the 3D Character Workshop. So if you want to learn how to model characters like this, you know, it's funny because I just ran across a great image by T.B. Choi that shows these different levels of stylization. And I kind of want to reach out to her and ask her if I can use it to describe like where, you know, what kind of characters I teach how to model in my course. Here, let me pull it up really quick. So she teaches online classes as well. Okay, let me turn off this. You see this? Oh, let me get this out of the way. There we go. All right, so you can see this A, B, and C. So I do not teach how to do A or B. Sometimes B, sometimes, but C, definitely. I love this. This stylization is amazing, and I would love, like, there's my reply. I would love to model C sometime. Yeah, this is my wheelhouse. I love this stylization. So if you're wanting to learn how to sculpt characters like this, yeah, that's what I like to teach. All right. And that's not to say you can't learn how to sculpt characters, like realistic characters or semi-realistic characters, starting from the same methods. I'll do that as well sometimes, but for the most part, I really like that stylization. And TB Choi, I met her at the Lightbox Expo a couple years back, and she's a great person as well as a great artist. And she knows her anatomy well. I love the way she does anatomy, her studies. Okay. That's a good enough block out. Those ears they still feel a little bit too big. Just shrink them down a little bit. And yes, I do. I give away my user interface and these brushes for free. If you're interested, go get them. Let's see, what am I doing here? Gotta have some coffee. All right, let's see here. Anyway, you know what I find interesting with the Deep Rock Galactic game is how they've chosen to, and I don't want to start a debate about this like we did last week, but they've chosen to do hard edges on everything. So if you check out that game, they don't use soft edges for anything. Even their beards for the dwarves, everything is hard edges, which is a really unique choice in art style, and I love it. Even things that that should be, no, I'm gonna leave this turned around. Even things that should be soft are hard edged, and it just gives it a really unique look that I love. Yeah, TB Choi. She's a phenomenal artist. Okay. What song is this? Sounds like a ripoff of Whitesnake or something. It's called Tonight by Sunset Neon. That's funny. Sounds like an 80s ballad. I'm wondering why you don't split your subtools. I will eventually. Usually when I do something where like when I create the eyes and I don't want to accidentally squish the eyes, I want to keep them spherical, so I will split those into a separate subtool. So you're not appending when you input newer primitives? No. This is an insert multi-mesh brush. This is my brush that I made. I built all of these primitives in Maya, I think 6 or 7 years ago, something like that. And I've just been using them since. They're all quad spheres, and like these are just 4 different levels of density for quad spheres. It's basically like starting with a cube and subdividing it down. It just saves me some time. And then this is my appendage brush. That's just essentially an elongated sphere with some more loops in it, just to save me some time. That's what I did the ears out of. Yeah, so here I can, whoops, it looks like that. Anyway, I'm gonna make this a little more dense. Yeah, just OBJ. And all you need to do to make an IMM brush, I should do a YouTube video with this. Hey, Neil, could I get you to write this down? I was thinking about, as I come up with ideas while we're talking here, it would be nice to write down some of these ideas for YouTube videos, but how to make an insert multi-mesh brush. But basically, all you have to do is stick all your primitives, one primitive in each subtool, and then you align your camera correctly, and then you just say create insert multi-mesh brush, and then you can make them. So it's fairly simple once you know how to do it. Thanks, Neil. I appreciate it, man. Also, Neil, we should yap after this. I have some ideas I want to talk to you about. Hey, what's up? It's Matthew. So you guys, Matthew Armstrong he's a super good friend of mine. Um, I think Matt, I talk to you almost every other day, right? He's over on Facebook right now. But this is his design. Go check him out. Check out his Instagram. Matt, where's the best place that you would say to point people to your art? I have your Instagram underneath here, right here. So yeah, just some history on Matt. I've how long have I known you, Matt? Like a long time. Matt and I go way back. I first met him when I think when I worked at Acclaim, right? I think that's when I first met you, as at Acclaim. And then we worked together again at Sony, which is Incognito. They made Twisted Metal Black. Um, let's see. And then we worked with each other again at Disney. Yeah, it's been a while. But we have a D&D group that we play with. He's part of that, and we do he's part of my Deep Rock Galactic group, the Miners, and we go mine together. It's fun. 3 to 5 studios together. Yeah. Oh. All right. But yes, epic artist. Okay. I'm going to just kind of cut this, curve this. Yeah, rock and stone. Yeah, Matt, I'm hoping to do this this design justice. Did you use real watercolors for this? It looks like real watercolors, not digital. It's amazing. Okay, let's see. And I'm just gonna throw a sphere in here for this little collar just to kind of give me a measurement idea. How do I make sure I don't miss your cast on the multi-stream or multi-brush system? Follow you somewhere. Oh, you'd be making it in 3D Studio Max. Yeah, just, it doesn't matter where you make the brushes. You just export them as OBJs and bring them in. One more step beyond what you would think in Maya is I made them to scale. So these are 1 meter boxes. So this, or I think 2 meter. These boxes are 2 meters tall. I basically made just a basic box, a cube inside of Maya, and then subdivided it down and made these different things. And like this cylinder is a quad cylinder, so it doesn't have poles on the top and bottom, because if you have poles, they don't subdivide very well. So I made quads, and they're all pre-creased, and I think they might be pre. No, I don't think they're pre-polygrouped. Hey McBubbles, I'm going through one of your courses right now. So far, so great. Quick question, is your Discord link active? It should be. So I just barely updated the Discord link in the course. So just try to go in there again where it says communities, go in there and click on it. And if it doesn't work, please send an email to support. So thanks. Real watercolors, brush, pen, ink, and pencil. Awesome. I love it. Love it. And welcome to the course, Bobbles. Where do you find my course? I only have one course. It's the 3D character. Well, I have 2 now, but one that's public. It's 3dcharacterworkshop.com is where you can find it. Just go there and follow the link, and there's some information about it. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that concept amazing? And Matt is here watching. I think he's still watching. No pressure, right? Okay. Okay, let's get back to what I was doing, which was making a collar for this guy. Sir Woof, yeah. Still here, Matt. Awesome. Well, thanks for dropping by. I do have to say one more thing about Matthew. He's like what am I trying to say? He can do several different styles of art. He loves to draw these whimsical little, like almost super sketchy drawings. I think that's, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's one of his favorite things to do because he can turn them around so fast. But if he wants or needs to, he can slow down and create these epic art pieces that are fully rendered out and designed and realized that just blow my brain. I should know you by now, Matt. Matt, this concept is so hilarious. I love it. I was just saying I love how you can't even see his eyeballs. They're like tucked up underneath his eyebrows. And he's just like, it's almost like he's waiting for something, you know? Waiting for his car to be worked on or something. And he's just kind of bored but hanging out. All right, see, now that I have his oh gosh, where did my, just drop my pen. All right, see, I need to drop his collar and everything down now that I have it in place. So you can see his neck is long. What's up, Mr. Long Neck? Let's try it. Let's try it here for now. See how that goes. Did you start from scratch for Disney Infinity, or do you have a common general block out for average? So in the beginning, we started from scratch. I mean, we would start with a base mesh because we were kind of forced to learn ZBrush at the time. We were Maya block, traditional modelers, point pushers, as it were. You know, like extruding faces in Maya, and then we had to learn it because we were making toys as well. So yeah, we just kind of pushed through it and learned it. Yeah, he does kind of look like Spock, doesn't he? But by the end, we did have base meshes that we would use. So if we were making a female, we would start with the female base mesh. So we'd have proportions to go from. And Matt was on that concept team with us. We put as many W's into the design as possible. Views can find the W's at home. Yeah. Yeah, where's all the W's? Boop, 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 boop. Rewatching week 1, but I'm still having trouble with the Gizmo tool. I'm trying to center it to the mesh, but it snaps to the side of the mesh. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me show you. Okay. So, and that's a great question, Battle Bears, by the way. No, it's not a long-winded question. It's good. So, with the Gizmo, if you want to move it around by itself, you just hold down Alt, and you can, as long as you're snapped to the side or snapped to the front, you can hold down Alt and move it anywhere you want it to be, right? But if you want to snap it to the center of this nose, you can see that everything is masked off except for the nose. And if I want to center it in that nose, if I push this right here, it's called Go to Unmasked Center, you'll notice that it goes to the side, if that's what you're talking about, right? And the reason it's going to the side is because it's going to since the symmetry is turned on, that's where it's coming from. See, symmetry is on. So it's basically centering in, let's see if I can show you this. So it's centering itself in this half of the nose because symmetry is turned on. So if I want that gizmo to be centered in the nose, I have to turn symmetry off temporarily. I just did that by pushing X. Okay, then click this again, go to Unmasked Mesh Center, and you'll see it's directly in the center now. But you got to remember to turn symmetry back on if you want to use it. So now I can move this around. And that is just on objects that are down the center line. So if I wanted to, say, center it in this ear, for example, well, let's fix our polygroups because the neck and the ears are in the same polygroup. So if I open this up and I click on auto groups, this is my custom menu, by the way, and this comes with my user interface that I give away for free over on my website, which is 3dcharacterworkshop.com. Sorry for that plug there. So if I click on auto groups, you'll notice it puts every isolated island mesh in its own polygroup, right? And it doesn't recognize symmetry when I do that. So you can see that this ear is in a different polygroup than this ear. If I want both of them in the same polygroup, I can show them both like this, hit Control W and put them both in the same polygroup. But an easier way is to just use this mirror and weld right here. So if I go mirror and weld, it's going to take this one and mirror it across over to here, and now they're in the same subtool. Okay, so if I want to put this gizmo in the middle of this ear, I can hold down Control, tap on the surface, and it will mask isolate just that ear, and it will put the gizmo and snap it to wherever I clicked. So I can, if I clear that out again, I can click over here. If I clear it out again, I can click over here. See how it's putting it on the surface of that object. And now if I want to bury it in the ear, I can just move my camera like this and then hold down Alt and drag it into the ear. And if I want to align it to point down that ear, I can just grab, I'm still holding down Alt, I can grab this ring and just adjust the gizmo to point down that ear. And then I can look at it from this direction, and I could move it, like say, more towards the base and make sure it's pointed down the ear this way. And then I can scale it like this. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, so that's how I get around moving the gizmo. Does that make sense? Does that help? Okay, hopefully. Oh yeah, I have to say too, Matt Armstrong was one of my, well, Matt, were you my first student? I think you were my first student in my course 4 years ago. Started Infinity with me. We drew model designs trying to find the style for Infinity for 1.5 years. I was the concept department. Shane was character modeling department. So many drawings. Yeah. So many models until we found the Infinity style. Yeah, for sure. That was fun times. And we were kind of thrown into the toy making. Like, we were all game makers, not toy makers. And all of a sudden we were toy makers. You know, we didn't have any experience, so we didn't know what we didn't know, and we were just kind of doing our thing. So we kind of based it off of like what would we as artists or as nerds, like toy nerds like me back here, what would we want to have on our shelves as toy geeks, right? And that's basically how we designed it. So yeah, Battle Bears, no problem. So if you do want to learn more about, well, gosh, there is a Gizmo lesson in the course where I go over all of that stuff. It's not in 2.0, it's in 1.0. Is it? I'm trying to think. Neil, do you remember where we put that Gizmo lesson? Oh my gosh. Is it still in 1.0 or is it in 2.0? I lose track. I have so many lessons in there. Yeah, Battle Bears, I think symmetry is what was tripping you up, if I were to guess. So just turn that off and then hit go to unmask center and you're good to go. Okay. There you go, Battle Bears. If you want to learn more, it's in 1.0. You know, it's funny because when I first recorded the course, ZBrush was in 4R3 or 2 or something like that, and it was still using the transpose line. And so I recorded all of the lessons with the transpose line, and then Pixelogic came out with the Gizmo. And so all of my videos were like instantly looking outdated. Under ZBrush Fundamentals. Thank you, Neil. So there you go. How does a 3D artist begin to make connections from your own experience? Honestly, the best way that I've found ever is by going to conventions. And I know it sucks because, well, there's either you're from a different country, which it's hard to get to conventions, and we have this pandemic going on right now, so conventions aren't really happening. So that's what I found is the best way. That's where I've met most of the people I know, is by going to conventions. But otherwise, just connecting, like I would say doing challenges maybe. I'm trying to think of another way to connect with people. Yeah, that's a good question. Besides going to conventions, I don't know of what's like the second best way. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Like I used to go to the Creative Talent Network in Burbank every year, which was amazing. I'd go to the ZBrush Summit every year, which was amazing. Awesome tips. I wonder if there's a shortcut to mask a poly group. Yes, there is. If you have the gizmo showing, just hold down Control and tap on it. That's it. See? Tap, 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 tap. That's how you do it. Now this, this is a tricky, oh yeah, Reddit. There you go. Reddit would work. Yeah, just join either Facebook groups, Reddit groups, whatever kind of groups on maybe the software that you're using. Post your stuff in ZBrush Central. I mean, that's a way to get people to see your work. But as far as like getting to know other people and network, yeah, I think Reddit's a good idea. Or, not to toot my own horn here, but my 3D character workshop has an absolutely fantastic network and community and Discord channel. So, I mean, the Discord channel is for students only, but yeah, that's a great way to connect with other stylized artists as well. Okay, I'm going to show you how to add. This is a tricky thing, and I hardly ever use it, but I want to just kind of throw it out there just to show you. It's this weird, tricky thing. But say I want to add a poly group to this unmasked group. Okay, so see I have this chin unmasked right now. Say I want to add the ear to that. Usually you can either, like, you can isolate this ear like this and just unmask it. Well, maybe not. So this is what I would do usually, is I would isolate this, the ear, invert my selection, or I could not invert it and just mask this whole thing and then unhide it. So that's kind of the long way to do it. But if I just had this unmasked, I could hold Control, click the ear, and drag it to the chin, and then push Shift. See that? And that'll add the ear to the chin selection. It's such a weird way to do it. That's why I don't really show it too often. But yeah, Matt, it's been great. So I have this Discord channel, and I have a bunch of my students have been sculpting live in there. I made this live sculpting room, and there's a handful of people sculpting in there live all the time, and it's great. Oh, thanks, Matt. Rise together. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I want to get his brows down. They're so funny. Let's see. Hey, Brutus. There's people in the live Hangout channel right now. Awesome. Yeah, it's kind of getting growing in popularity, which is great. Okay, so this guy is unique where he doesn't really have eyes. So I'm gonna block out his eyebrows, which I don't typically do. Every character is unique. And I'm not going to draw them on with the topology brush like I usually do, because they're so fluffy. I'm just going to block them out with a sphere. And honestly, I'm just going to say right now, this is what makes it so difficult to teach, because every character is unique and it doesn't have a single workflow. Every character isn't the exact same workflow. It all depends on what the character is. And then every artist is their own unique person, right? And they'll choose to build it their own way. And there's so many different ways to build stuff. So I just kind of teach the method that I know and then just kind of show, you know, this is how I would build this character. Daniel, I'm not a fan of that balloon mesh brush too much because I like to have more control, I guess. Honestly, what I do is exactly how you watch me do this guy. Is I'll start with a sphere. I mean, I even made his collar from a sphere. Most of the stuff here, sphere. Or stretch sphere, which is the appendage brush. That's it. It doesn't have to be complex. You know, it's only as complex as you want to make it. But I am going to split these eyebrows off into their own group. I'm trying to move something like a tube around without destroying the polyflow and distribution. Mask half the mesh, try to move the tube. With move elastic every second or third drag, the mesh either explodes or ZBrush. Yeah, I don't know how to help you out with that without seeing it specifically, you know. It might be either too few points or way too many points. You know, it might be too dense. Yeah, I'm not really sure what could be going on with that. Walrus tusks. Any advice when sculpting face expressions? I'm trying to do a simple smile a little bit to the side, but I feel like it looks like the Joker every time. The only thing I can tell you with that is reference. So reference is your friend on that one. So even if it's a mirror and you're trying to pull that reference, you gotta look at and see, like, make sure your mouth is being pulled back across your teeth. A lot of people forget that there's teeth in the mouth, that as you pull a smile, it's going to pull back along those teeth. And your upper lip in a smile does not curve up. Only your bottom lip does. So that's why reference is king. So you can see exactly what's going on there. If it's looking weird, that's probably why, is you're doing it in an iconic way and not in a realistic way. How do you move stuff like waistbands around for poses when the topology is already fixed? Is UV'd? I just do it very carefully. I still do it. It's a, you know, posing is more of mastering, masking and hiding, like showing and hiding and masking. And sometimes, like if I don't want to accidentally stretch something out of control, sometimes I won't pose that belt or whatever until after I've made the main pose, and then I'll just carefully move that belt around and then line it up and then kind of stretch it and move it around. But sometimes a pose is just so stretched that you're going to stretch it regardless. And sometimes it's even better to create those belts and straps and things after the pose is complete. And then you'd have to re-UV it. But typically you don't need UVs in a stretched pose. Well, I'm thinking 3D printing for 3D printing, because in games, it's just going to stretch anyway. Yeah, most people see the iconic like yellow smiley face with just this big smile. Your top lip doesn't do. Look at this. See, not that I'm like gritting my teeth, but if I try to smile, my top lip is not curling up. It's straight across. Let's see. But just so you know, that like every single Infinity character that we posed, it was all done in ZBrush with just masking, hiding. It wasn't any tricks. Which tools do I use for what? Just this T-pose master. Masking and hiding and showing, that's it. That's what I use for posing. Nothing tricky. Which brush is for moving? Just the move brush. I don't really, the only time I use move elastic right here, the only time I use that is for long things like hair or a tube of some sort, like this mustache, because move elastic is very it's kind of hard to control, and the fall off is really big. See that? Like, see how it just moves in an unpredictable way? I'm really not I use it really largely when I'm moving a bunch of hair together and I don't want to mess up the curvature of it. So if I want it just to sweep a little bit to one side or the other, I don't really use the move elastic brush too much. How do you create low poly voxel Zelda type models? I don't create those, so I don't have an answer for you there. But low poly models, I will typically sculpt something like this, and then I'll retopologize it later if I want to make a game character out of it. Okay. Yeah, honestly, Brutus, I would not use move elastic. Just use move. You can use AccuCurve if you want. It can help you out. Or even the snake hook brush on a really low setting is nice. Okay. Just gonna block out his hat. Nice. What tool? What tool for what? Is move topology better? No, move topology only moves. That's almost like this topological masking. Well, it is. It's exactly this topology masking. So it's just, it will just move whatever object you touch first and ignore the rest. And this range is the topological masking fall off. So if you're wanting to move an upper lip without moving the lower lip, it will have a fall off. So when you grab the upper lip, it won't affect it. And that's what this range is. And that's what move topological is. So that would be like if you want to move one hair at a time, one slab or one pipe or whatever you have that is in a mix of pipes, or if you want to just move one object without using masking, you can use that. Topological is masking, and topological move is just the move brush with topological masking turned on. And that's why I have this button out here, is because I like to use it with all my brushes, not just move. Oh, hey Angry, how you doing, man? I better save this. Yeah, it does look like a French guy with his little beret on, right? Okay, let's see how that goes. And like I said, I don't use cylinders very often, but in this case, I'm going to. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to split it off. Something like that. Gotta follow his head. It's not a perfect cylinder. All right, looks funny without a bill. Here, I'm going to show you guys that you can make anything from a sphere. So typically I would like draw this out and give it thickness and everything, but I'm just going to use a sphere just to show you that it's possible. It's like a ball of clay, right? You can just make anything from anything in ZBrush essentially, but usually it works best if you make it with a sphere or something equivalent. There's faster ways you can do things for sure, but yeah, don't get hung up on the process. Like if you think about traditional clay artists, right? All they have is clay. There's no special like tricks or tools or things like, I mean, I take that back. There are tools, of course. There are wires and different chisels and carvers and things, but at the end of the day, it's still just clay. There's nothing that's like, I'm going to use this special certain trick to do this certain thing. You just kind of sculpt it, right? I call it, it's funny that we're modeling this from Matthew Armstrong, because I actually call that, not that it has anything to do with Matthew, but I call it Armstrong sculpting. You're just doing it, you know, you just sculpt it. It's not like, how do I do this thing? You just do it, you know, just look at it and then do it. Swear by what modifiers? So you just make it into a bill. How do I reset the focal shift of brushes once I mess it up? I've tried it. So you can go into brush and reset it. I'm trying to remember. Neil, maybe you can help me remember here. I swear it's in the brush menu. Oh, right here. Reset current brush and reset all brushes. That's under the brush menu. So whatever brush you're on, you can just reset it right there. Or you can just load up ZBrush again. And as long as you don't save or store config, it will just load the default brushes up. Unless you start with a project. If you start with a project, your brush settings get saved with the project. So if you keep opening that project and it never fixes itself, that's why, is because you're saving those settings in your project. So save it as a Z tool. Open a new project. I use my ruler file. See this ruler project, which I give away for free over on my website if you want. But every time I start ZBrush, that's the first thing I do, is I open up this project because it has all of my settings stored. And then I will open up a Z tool into that project. And that way it kind of resets everything to the way I like it. Okay, I want to make this bill a little more square. And then a little tapered. What's the difference between clip curve versus knife? Clip curve will just push the geometry flat, and knife will actually slice it and fill the hole. I don't see you use Z-spheres in your workflow. I don't use Z-spheres typically unless I'm doing something that needs tubes, and even then I don't, because it doesn't create a nice curve between the spheres. It creates like a straight line between the spheres, and it just doesn't, I just don't get the control that I like to use in my typical workflow. And I don't have anything against Z-spheres. In fact, I'm the one who made most of the characters for the Zizu thing. If you guys ever start out with the Zizu characters right here, I made like 99 of these. So these are all made of Z-spheres. And so if you want to start with these, I think Michael Pavlovich has some videos where he starts with some of these. But I just like a more, I like more of a non-destructive workflow, and primitives get me that. Like I couldn't make this hat with Z-spheres, for example. So I just like blocking out with spheres and being able to squish it into shape like this. This is ZBrush. This is the full version of ZBrush. All right. Not that it matters, but I'm going to push this up in there. Sure, Brian. And if I want to get kind of an edge to this, I can just kind of drag it over manually if I want to. Just gather these together. I'm going to turn on backface masking on my move brush. Hey Lee, please don't post advertisements in here. I appreciate it. Thanks. That's not working very well. Let's see. Let's get pinch and turn the backface masking on that. So see how I can pinch this geometry together. I can also turn the intensity down a bit. Oh, what materials do you like using? I honestly, I only use, not only, but I use just a small handful of materials. And it's usually Skin Shade 4, which ships with ZBrush. And the reason I use that is because it shows my poly paint with no, with very, very little coloration on the top of it. It just shows shading on the top of it. That's the main reason why. Where's backface mask located? It is in here, sorry. It's under brush, auto masking, backface. And if you didn't know this, you can hover over anything on your user interface, hold down Control, and it will show you the button path. Can you see the button path at the very bottom? And that will tell you exactly where it's at. So, hey, what's up, Craig? How you doing, man? Oops. Got to be careful with pinch because it really pulls the geometry together. See, this is how, here, let me turn backface mask off again. But this is how you can essentially Armstrong something out of a sphere. You know, you don't have to start with some tricks. See how we got a nice little edge on there? Now, see the cylinder, it's a little too sharp for my taste. I like its, my edges to be softer than that, so let's come in. Now he's got a headband. He looks like an 80s guy working out with a headband. So I'm going to clear off these creases. No way I did that. Now it's soft, but I want some edges. Yep, it's Waluigi. Made by my buddy Matthew Armstrong. That's the concept artist. Okay, so I'm going to insert some edges. Come on. Why is this not working? There we go. There. Then it's a nice softer edge. I feel like his build needs to be wider. Feels narrow. That's better. Hey, what's up, Francis? How you doing, man? Oh, I didn't have symmetry turned on. Okay. That's okay. We'll just mirror it. Oh, goodness. All right. That messed up. All right. Let's try it again. Mirroring it without masking on. There we go. Mirror and weld. There we go. That's better. Hey, Johnny. That's weird. I'm getting some weird mirroring thing here in the middle. Okay, and a lot of people want to know how to fix symmetry issues like this, and I'll just show you really quick. I think it's because I had local symmetry turned on. I did. I'm going to undo that. Okay, let me do this again. So local symmetry is going to mirror it across itself rather than the world. So you just want to make sure that's turned off. That still gave issues. Okay, so how to fix this? I turn off dynamic subdivisions and isolate this headband. So you can see it just made some extra loops in the center. All you have to do is turn off symmetry temporarily, and since this mirrors from left, well, screen left to screen right, which is your character's right to his left, all you have to do is turn symmetry off and just drag this over like this. And then if I hit mirror and weld again, oh, you have to do it with it not hidden or masked. Okay, see, then it just fixes it. And there's also issues on the back, but I have to drag it opposite. So I have to drag these this direction. And unhide it and do a mirror and weld. Boom, fixed. Easy peasy. All right, turn dynamic symmetry back on, and there, we're fixed. Okay. This blockout's taking longer than I thought it would. You guys are asking awesome questions, so I've been chatting away. Okay, let's see. Let's get his hair blocked out. I love how he's got a mullet. Now, I might block this hair out with all spheres, just a bunch of spheres together. Let's try it. Squished spheres. Turn local symmetry back on. Something like this, like maybe give it a little bit of interest by elongating it so it's not so perfect. Hey Aaron, how's it going? I find ZModeler quite complex. Any advice for using that brush? It is quite complex, and it's quite complex to explain during a live stream. But what I can do is I can kind of give you the gist of it. It depends on what you're hovering over. It's context sensitive. So if you're hovering over a point, it's going to give you one menu. If you hover over an edge, it's going to give you another one. If you hover over a face, it's going to give you a different one. And then each menu is the same. It shows you what you want to do, and then what your target is, and then any modifiers beyond that down here. And that's essentially it. So you want to, say if you want to crease something, you pick crease, and what do you want to crease? Do you want to crease a single poly, or poly loop, or poly group all? What do you want to crease? And then how do you want to crease it, essentially? And that's all these actions down here. And that's it in a nutshell. You can just kind of go through and play with different things inside that menu, and it will, that's kind of the top high level of how it works. Okay. Yeah, without going into what each menu does to which thing, that would take a long time. So, what is the local symmetries function? It just moves the pivot point to the center of your currently unmasked object versus the world. That's the difference. It's like a toggle. How much more simple can you see doing this in the future? It's got a lot quicker, but seems the same principles. I don't understand the question. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you're asking there. Like, will the workflow get much simpler than what I'm doing now? This is the same workflow I've had for the last I would say 5 years, 6 years. So I don't see it going any differently. Whoops. Nikolai, I do, but this is, you're watching the Pixelogic live streaming channel, and they're the creators of ZBrush. So I like to keep the chat to ZBrush. And I'm just inverting the mask so I can hit Control W to put this new sphere in its own polygroup, because you'll notice if or when I hold down Control to duplicate an object, it puts it in the same polygroup as the object that I duplicated. So if I want to it in its own polygroup, I have to inverse the masking and then do that. So what 3D printer should I buy? It depends on what you're needing to do. If you're wanting to print just stylized 3D characters like this one, I suggest a resin-based printer. And there's lots of affordable ones now, like the Anycubic series or the Elegoo series. And if you're wanting to get into professional 3D printing, I suggest the Formlabs printers. I'm trying to decide if this is the best route to go. It's really slow. I think I might just go back to Armstrong sculpting and just kind of move it around how I want it to be. So I'm going to go back to one single sphere. Well, back to this, and I'm just going to sculpt it. One big thing. Let's see. ZBrush workflow is really great. Somehow it's one of the more intuitive pieces of software. Once you get used to the menus, I agree. Watching your lessons so good. Thank you. Do you have any suggestions for practice? It depends. Just practice with intent. If you're bad at something, I suggest picking that thing and getting better at it. Like if you're wanting to sculpt a specific thing, and just practice with sculpting the things you see yourself eventually sculpting in the future. Like if you want to sculpt stylized characters, then learn how to practice sculpting stylized characters, if that makes sense. I honestly, I don't like the mesh extract method. I don't feel like I can control it good enough. I don't know. Oh, you made Matthew's Grumpy Link years ago. Nice. Yeah. He was in the stream a little while ago. Yeah, I could honestly say Matthew's one of my best friends ever of all time. He's great. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna split this off. So this is what I mean by just having the control. I'm just gonna kind of scooch. I love that word, scooch. I'm gonna scooch it around till it looks how I want it to look as far as the base profile goes, and then I'll go back in and edit the little bits on top. And you know, with ZRemesher, it works a lot. You can keep it low poly without destroying too much. So it works a lot like Dynamesh does, where if you start to stretch polygons, you can just re-Dynamesh. That's like ZRemesher, but on a lower resolution of your mesh. So like say I'm stretching this out and I need more polygons to start making this like mullet thing in the back. I can start to pull it out and get that shape, but it's stretching my polygons. So in order to keep those, or keep that shape and take it even further, I can ZRemesh it. So, sorry, Francis, I'm not using your plugin for this. So Francis makes this amazing plugin called Easy Remesh. It's actually open right now. And I really like Easy Remesh more for hard surface-ish type things, or facial things, or hands and things like that. But for something light like this, I typically don't use it because it likes to put creases on things. And I like to go super light with it, like 0.01. So I'm going to apply this dynamic subdivisions, and then I'm going to hit ZRemesher. See, I went a little too low on this. So let me go maybe 0.3. You didn't come here for that? Oh, I know you didn't, but I love your plugin so much, Francis, that I gotta plug it. You know that. Okay, so see how it gives me, it basically remeshes it for me, which is super nice. Okay, now I want to bring this hair around and kind of come down and start to make the pork chops, the sideburns. But I'm going to run out of geometry really quickly here. So I can just ZRemesh it again. There we go. I'm going to increase this just a bit for next time. How do you show what menu? Oh, this one? This is my custom menu. That I just make, it's just different bits from the tool menu that I use often that I just put into a custom menu. If you want to learn how to make a custom menu like this, you can check out my YouTube channel where I walk you through exactly how I made this if you want. Also, I give away my user interface, which comes with this menu for free if you want to go check that out over at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. So there's my own personal plug if you want to check that out. Okay. Thanks, Neil. Neil has the links. Oh, nice, Windave. Windave. Windave? Windave. How's it going? I'm glad you like them. Yep, they are the brushes that you see me using right here, right now. That's what I'm doing. In the menus. Okay, so now I have this blocked out, essentially. And then I can start to make it bubbly, like curly, later on. I'll probably use like the Sculptress Pro or something like that. All right, I want to move this hat down lower now. Do you have any stylized environment artists that you follow on ArtStation? Goodness. I'm trying to think. I don't really follow any environment artist on ArtStation. I'm trying to think. I mean, I see some occasionally on Twitter and whatnot, but yeah, I don't really have any. Just because that's not my thing, you know. So I really like some of the ones I've been seeing that mimic Studio Ghibli style stuff, and that's been pretty impressive. Oh, there you go, orb. Yeah, thanks, Francis. Okay, I'm gonna squish these together. Do you have a simultaneous stream on YouTube? I do. So I'm streaming to 3 places right now. I'm streaming to YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, and Facebook. So those 3. And they're Pixelogic channels. So I'm streaming to their YouTube channel, their Twitter channel. I say Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. And I'm going to be streaming on my own channel, hopefully more soon. So you can check my stuff out at 3D Character Workshop YouTube channel. And Neil just posted a link to that, just barely up in the chat. Thanks, Neil. Okay, let's stitch this together. Okay, so I don't want to stitch the clothes to the neck. So I'm going to pop those out of here. Do I have a link for the YouTube of this current stream? I don't know if you can grab that, Neil, and post that if you wouldn't mind. That'd be awesome. Okay, but it's just Pixelogic YouTube. I don't know what they're going to be now that they're Maxon ZBrush. But for now, it's still Pixelogic, I believe. Okay, let's see. So to stitch this together, I like to go maybe 1 subdivision higher than this. Did I? Hey, what's up, Frosty? Let's see. I'm going to apply these subdivision levels. Okay. Remesh by union. Hey, Rob, how's it going? Yeah, I don't... Worth has been doing more characters, but yeah, he's a really good stylized environment artist. Yeah, Worth Daily, a good friend of mine. Thanks, Rob, for reminding me. Yeah, he does some awesome stuff. Okay, so... There we go, maybe a little lighter. Now this is, I'm just adjusting the tessellation of the surface. Your internet's back and running, nice. Finally managed to catch you live. Hey, what's up, Daniel? Oh, so sweet. Always good to hear. Okay, now that we're here, this guy looks like a goblin without all his accoutrements. Hey, Angelo, how you doing? I love this guy. I love this design. It's so fun. So you can also see how it's starting to stretch these polys. So I want to turn off on Sculptress Pro so it doesn't. And so I can turn that on right here. And then I wanted to make sure that this slider is similar, but a little lower than the one underneath it. And that way, when I use it, it's going to be similar or a little more dense than what's underneath it. And I have adaptive turned off on my Sculptress Pro settings. So the density is set to scene size rather than brush size. I'm not a big fan of having it set to my brush. It drives me crazy. And for this mustache, I'm going to do something like auto groups, get rid of this one, and drag this across the center so I can connect it. Whoops, gotta turn off local symmetry. There we go. I can start detailing out this ear a little bit more. What I like to do with the ear is just mask off the inside of it and then just push it in. Either with the move brush or, you know, with the Gizmo, whatever, doesn't matter. But using the move brush does stretch the polys. Is this 3ds Max? No, this is ZBrush. .3ds Max isn't the best for digital sculpting. It's funny because that's what I learned on is 3D Studio Max back in the day. Where do you turn off adaptive size? Just under stroke. So if you go up to stroke, go to Sculptress Pro. Now you have to be on a brush that supports Sculptress. Like you can hold down Shift and it will light up. You'll see this adaptive size right here. I have it turned off. And how I have the settings turned off from the get-go, so I don't have to turn it off every single time I use ZBrush, is I use this plugin called Z Startup Utility. And you can see it says store spotlight, remember Sculptress settings right here. So you can grab this startup utility from Pixelogic's download page. It doesn't ship with ZBrush. You have to go get it and install it. But you can, I have a YouTube video on how to go get it and install it too. Yeah, Alex, I used Maya I still do, but for decades. Welcome, Frosty. Enjoy. I love that utility. I wish I would have known about it earlier. A lot of people had been telling me about it, and I don't know why, but I just never went and grabbed it. But now that I have it, I love it. It's just a quality of life thing that's nice. somebody was asking about materials earlier. And like I said, I use Skin Shade 4 most of the time. But sometimes sometimes I like to use some of the ZBrush brushes. ZBrush has some really great brushes. If you just do a Google search on ZBrush, you can find them. But I don't think I have them loaded since I've loaded up 2022 ZBrush. I need to go get them and install them, but I'll turn it on here in a second. Thanks, Neil. ZBrush has really great modeling brushes or materials, and he also has really great eye reflection materials that you can slap on an eyeball and make it look good in ZBrush. It's just nice for previs stuff. Let's change the shape of these eyebrows here. They're so funny. so crumpled and closed. Okay, let's check it out here. Let's go get one and I'll show you. See, if I had them loaded, they'd be right here, but I'm gonna go get it. 1 second. I like one called ZBrush Gray and one called ZBrush Modeling Clay. And this is the gray one. I like it because it shows off the surface a lot. It's just really nice to show off, yeah, just to show how clean or not clean your model is and how to fix it, essentially. Yeah, his eyes are the best. I want to build him up. So he's got these nice lower eyelids. I think I want to actually make them out of spheres. Let's do that right now. That looks funny. I'm going to split them off just so I can subdivide them. Oops. Hey, how's it going? Hey, Graham. You guys must have gotten word that I was sculpting. So the last, Luella and Graham, they're both students of mine, and they've been live streaming over on, hey, it's Brad too, over on the Discord, the 3D Character Workshop Discord channel. Let me split this off. Why didn't it? Loving your 2.0 site. Oh, thanks. We're following along in Discord. Are you guys trying to sculpt Waluigi too? That's awesome. Oh, sorry. I got to stand up just for a second and get the blood flowing. Ugh. Get the wiggles out. All right. So there's a secret little tip for this gizmo here. This is actually another, Neil, this is a possible video, is like tips in the gizmo. But see if when you hold over or hover over the scale on your gizmo, see how it says hold control to clip it? I could use the clip curve brush to do this, but this is another way to do it. I can hold down Control and see I can start to clip this. I don't know why it's being so jiggy. There we go. But I can clip it. Just drag it down and clip it. There's a few hidden things as part of the gizmo that are sort of like that. I don't know if there's enough to warrant a whole video, but I do have it in mind. I noticed it had been a big hit and miss with the gizmo clipping jigginess. Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah, I haven't really, I usually default to the clip brush because, again, more control. But, yeah, I think it was just so close to the center line. That's why it was like getting jiggy with it. Okay. But I am going to try and duplicate this to make the other lower eyelid. I'm going to do it like this. Hey, what's up, Ingrid? Yeah, getting jiggy with it. Let's see, I want to pop the gizmo like right there. There it is. Okay. You know, you can see this little orange dot? If you, sometimes if you have your camera turned like this, it's very easy to accidentally go to grab one of these handles and move the gizmo to the other side. And that's what that little orange dot signifies, is what side of the model your gizmo is working on. So if you want to pop that gizmo from side to side, that's all you got to do is hover over that orange square. But like I said, sometimes you have the camera like this and you're just like, ow, and you get frustrated. So just kind of move it around. Hey Nick, your Valley of the Suck seems to be a lot smaller than mine. I normally go through a whole mountain range of suck. Mountain range of suck, that's hilarious. Yeah, but even so, it's still, yeah, very much the Valley of the Suck on every character. Okay, I'm gonna drag this. Oh, looks like, okay, double lower eyelids. So they're both in the same poly group. Let's see if I can go, there we go, back to where I have this one masked, so I can hit Control W to put it in its own poly group. That's better. And then I can drag this out. Yeah, Leonard, it can be frustrating for sure. These are just eyelids, so it looks like it's his eyeball, but it's not. It's just his eyelids. His eyes, excuse me, his eyes are actually like tucked clear up in here, which is funny. Makes me laugh. Okay, so I want to combine these eyelids now with the head so I can smooth the back of them into the head. But right now they're a separate subtool, so I just need to merge this down. Merge, where are you? Merge. Actually have it in my menu. Okay, now I forgot to apply the subdivisions before I did it, but that's okay. Yeah, they do look like a pirate cap, don't they? Okay, I'm gonna turn. Go lighter first. Oh, looks like I have material on. What's going on here? That's weird. Oh, I don't have them stitched together. You know what? I'm going to split them back off. So let's do some problem solving here today, because I accidentally combined these together. So, oh, you're right. I do have two heads showing. What's going on here? This one, this one. Thank you, Neil. Okay. So, I accidentally merged this. Well, I intentionally merged this, but I forgot to apply the subdivision levels. So what I can do is I can just hide these and just say split hidden to get them in their own subtool, arrow down, and then hit Control D to put a subdivision level on there, and then say delete lower. Now it's more dense. It's closer to the density of this head. I can do that one more time if I want to. Sure, why not? Let's do it. Even more dense. Okay, so now I have these more dense. Now if I merge them together, they're much closer. So I got to make sure I'm on the right head. Is this one old? This one is old. They look the same. Just got to make sure that I don't delete the wrong one. In fact, I'm going to save this first. Oh, this is my old blockout. Why do I have two heads? Okay, this one has a lip. They both are the same. Okay, I don't know. Let's delete this one. Merge this one down. Merge down. Okay, so here's our eyelids. Now we have to stitch them together. I'm going to go back to Skin Shade 4 so we can see what we're doing. I like to reset the gizmo and do remesh by union. Accept. And now they're stitched in the head. Like so. So you can see them stitched. And now that I'm getting a better stitch because the densities are similar. Now I can smooth the lower eyelids into the head without too much grief, I think. Here, let's go a little denser on that. There we go. Whoops, I forgot to turn on symmetry. So every time you do a remesh, it will automatically turn symmetry off for some reason. It's just the way it works. Remesh by union is like it will stitch your objects together without rebuilding your entire mesh. It's kind of like doing a live Boolean operation when you're done with live Booleans. It's kind of like, you know, putting everything together using your Booleans, but without doing any Booleans. That's what it is. And you find it underneath the gizmo, underneath the gear. It's called remesh by union. It's just a nice, easy way to stitch things together. Just using my fill brush to blend this together. There we go. That's a lot better. Okay. Let's fix his neck now, because this transition is really sharp. Oh, goodness. All right. Getting too old to sit this long. No. So I can reduce the density of this. And just kind of smooth this together. See, it's still too dense. There we go. I give him an Adam's apple, just because it's funny. You can kind of see a hint of one there, but and then just blend the cranium into the neck more. I mean, it's covered by hair, but it just makes for a better head. I've had to get up and walk around at least 5 times. Yeah, when I have a bouncer, like a it's like a mini trampoline behind me that once in a while I'll just go back and jump on to get the blood flowing through. You know, it's a nice way to get it going. Okay, now for this mustache, I'm gonna duplicate this just in case I need to go back, but so I want to make it bumpy lumpy. Alex, I must ask you a question. It's funny when you say it in Luigi's voice too. I think there might be a better brush. No. Yeah, inflate. I don't want to do this too symmetrically. So actually I'm going to do this asymmetrically. So I'm going to turn off symmetry. And we're just going to turn up the power. And when we get down here, I'm going to use snake hook. Because it gets pretty squirrely towards the end here. Here's your before and after. It gets even squirrelier, doesn't it? What software are you using to cast and record live? I'm just using OBS. It's just free software. And then pushing out to restream, and then restream pushes it everywhere. So I'm currently streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So many warbles. Let's see. Okay, now with these eyebrows, I kind of want to, oh, dynamic is still turned on, dang. Okay, that's why I'm having some grief here. Yeah, that's going to be dense. Let's go a little more dense than that. So just so you guys know, dynamic subdivisions and Sculptress Pro, or dynamic topology as it's called, they don't work well together. So you got to choose one or the other. Otherwise, you're subdividing triangles, and that's basically sticking 4 quads down inside every single one of these little triangles, and it's going to slow your system down and possibly make it crash. So you want to watch out for that. I wish it would just like if you turn Sculptress on, it would just automatically turn that off. That's a feature request I need to ask. Okay. We'll use the clay brush on this. Let's see, where did it go? Clay buildup. It's funny, I redid my user interface, and because I just wanted to clean it up a little bit. I got rid of some brushes. I brought the knife lasso brush in, and I found that I wasn't using the clay buildup brush much. But I know as soon as I get rid of it on my user interface, I would want to use it more. So let's see. Because clay buildup, it works pretty good for doing like stylized looking hair. Just real subtle. I want to see what it looks like if I do curlies on here. I don't know. See, because I love just kind of that sketchy watercolor look that Matthew's got going. And that might work. Maybe asymmetrically. I'm thinking maybe I'll work from the outside in. Just to give it some texture, you know, to catch the light. The groom brushes, well, this is not fiber mesh, so this is just a, you know, the groom brushes are for fiber mesh. I like to make my models 3D printable, if I can possibly do that. Hey Alex, how you doing? I think I like that look. Yeah. I kind of wish I could I guess I could make the brushes taper with my pressure on my pen, because I want them to go, see how they're like a constant width the whole time? The pressure only affects the depth, not the fall off, or the thickness. I should say the width, not the thickness. Miss your streams. Well, I'm glad you were able to make it to one. Just gonna put some more texture on the sides here, just to make it look like they're curly curls. Sometimes you just experiment with stuff, and if it works, it works. If not, it doesn't. You just try something else, you know? And I'll probably do the same treatment to the hair. So these clustery curls with some, you know, texture on them. Let me see what I can do with this color. See if I can do some of that paint business. All right, Francis, thanks for hanging out, man. Hey, Sumerian, how's it going, man? I did, thanks. I'm gonna try something. Let's see, I don't know if I can get that watercolored look. Neil, that was another thing. The RGB intensity on the airbrush. I only remember when I'm actually streaming, right? Thank you, Neil. My living notebook taker. I appreciate it. Working on my Kate model. I'm planning on 3D printing it. Is your file of 3D of Kate anywhere to print? I have not. Almost uses a. I have not made that available. But I might. I don't know. Let's see. I've printed her several times, several different sizes. How do you color pick from the reference? So this is a spotlight image. So if you hit Z or Z, this ring will come up and you can grab it and move it around. And as long as this ring is showing, then you can hold down C, as in cat, and hover over the image and it will color pick. So you can see how it's changing all the different colors. I'm not clicking, I'm just hovering. So say if I want to grab like a purple like this, then I can just hover over this shirt and fill it, and his hat. So let's see here. I still need to put the wrinkles on his forehead. And so let's say I want to grab some darker brown here. Maybe that. I got to put some more lumpy eyebrow squishiness in between his eyebrows too. And I'm not going to really paint all the hair yet because I haven't you know, I haven't gone into that yet. Let me see if I can grab this pink. It's too dark here. Too fun. Love this Waluigi. He's so great. All right, you guys. I think I'm gonna wrap this up. My body's telling me I can't sit anymore. I need to stand up and walk around. Been playing with the AO mask and then gradient fill lately to do some of the painting you're trying. Oh, nice. That's a good idea. I usually just paint all the AO stuff by hand and because it's fun, but that's a good idea. Like for this dark cavity in this ear and stuff. But anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. And as always, if you want to learn how to sculpt stylized characters like this one, I teach how to do that in my course, the 3D Character Workshop. Just go to 3dcharacterworkshop.com and check it out. I also give away my brushes, my user interface for free. Same website. You can check that out too. Also, you can check out a bunch of my past live streams and my YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel is 3dcharacterworkshop.com, or not .com, 3D Character Workshop on YouTube. And then Pixelogic's YouTube channel, I've streamed on there for the last couple of years. So you can watch a bunch of those videos back if you want to. So anyway, have a wonderful day. Again, thanks everybody for hanging out and sculpting with me. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Monday. All right, take care, guys.